Context is important. And I think it's the lack of context that has caused all this confusion and has caused us to be in the state that we're in.
Context. Peel Police Street Check Public Consultation, October 13th, 2015, Malton.
That seems to be it. You're working with a broken system and we're running around from place to place asking for ideas to fix the broken system. But quite possibly the system has no way to be fixed.
To which Chief Evans replied,
"It's not the system."
Peel Police Chief Evans is absolutely right. The system isn't broken. Police oversight isn't broken. The system isn't broken. But what she fails to tell you is, it was built this way. Built to protect itself.
According to 2015 reports, black people in Brampton and Mississauga formed 21% of all street checks, even though they were only 9% of the population.
21% black people street checked by Peel Police isn't just wrong, 21% was faked. Key street check information was deliberately withheld, masked, or stripped completely of any context that might hint at what was really going on.
Context is important.
Context. September 25th, 2015, the exact moment when Peel Police unleashed their fake 21% black people street checked. And with it, a hint as to how they faked it.
And looking at the data and breaking it down by race, it shows that 27.7% of individuals were described as white. 22.5% of the data, there was no race that was identified. 20.7% were identified as black.
So did you catch how it was faked? And then the fake was helped along by Peel Police Services Board Chair Laurie Williamson.
And Chief, we're going to correct the 22.5% no race. We've already taken procedures to make sure that shows up at the future one.
That's correct.
And I knew the 21% was wrong then and there, and I whispered why right into the camera.
The thing is, you don't do it out of everybody who's checked. You do it, you get rid of the no complexion ones. Your sample isn't everybody.
And right after the meeting, the same day, that fake 21% was published in the Toronto Star, picked up by CP24 Global News. And then the fake 21% was handed out at all 3 Peel Police Street Check public consultations. And from there, the fake 21% was used as submissions to the ministry on the new regulation 5816 by both Ryerson submission as well as the Ontario Human Rights Commission. And they're still up there.
Context is important.
First, let me say for the record that I support street checks as an investigative and intelligence gathering tool. However, the September 2015 street checks overview presented to the board, plus a year's worth of freedom of information, confirmed that Peel Police can't be trusted to conduct them. I alerted the board as early as September 23, 2016, that there were problems with the Peel Police street check race statistics, and especially the category no race. Only Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie took an interest.
Could you, or maybe later, or whatever, is this, Ms. Kuiper-Bennett talked about the no race. How does that get factored in with Ottawa using undetermined? They didn't include it, whereas we used no race and did include it.
I can't speak to what Ottawa were doing. I can tell you that we identified that officers were selecting no race.
Freedom of information secured later on showed that Chief Evans snowed her. March 24th, 2017, I'm back at the board reporting on what new Freedom of Information documents have revealed. Just shy of 50% of all street check forms in 2014 and 2015 had race not recorded. How does almost half blank, 2 years in a row, escape unreported to the board? And then the board allows this Chief Evans question and answer session.
Earlier today, you saw a presentation by Ms. Kuiper-Bennett, and somehow I was feeling it was implied that when I became chief, I ordered a different way of doing street checks so we could then mask or hide the race data. Is that true?
Definitely not.
Okay.
And now the board chair asks Chief Evans a question.
Yeah, I have heard this I'm aware of the fact that it was on the second page.
So, do you think that the chair was aware of the fact that tattoos was a mandatory field on street check forms, but race wasn't?
So today, right now, what will be the unidentified race number today? Forget about the time because of the issue that you mentioned.
That's right. Forget the issues that I mentioned, which is that Peel Police withhold, mask, and hide their street check race data, allowed their blank street check forms to hit almost 50% 2 years in a row, 2014, 2015, and that they didn't report that to the board, and that they included that blank race data in their race calculations.
Context is important.
And some context, going back to the original September 25th, 2015 board meeting. Chief Evans explains why she refuses to suspend carding to Mayors Crombie and Jeffrey.
Peel Police has taken the lead. I think sometimes you're selected to lead the charge on things, and I think I've been selected.
Sometimes you're selected to lead the charge. Selected, chosen. And you gotta give Chief Evans credit. She was evangelical when it came to championing and defending street checks.
Madam, I have to ask you to close,
That's fine, great.
5 minutes, and I think we have to keep a level playing field for everybody and keep it, so I'm sorry you're not finished. Maybe at a future time you can come in and finish if you so like.
Maybe at some future date, you can come in and finish if you so like. That was September 22nd, 2017, Chair Yanika, and it's taken until 2019 for entirely unexpected, favorable conditions to present themselves. In January, you, the newly elected chair of the Region of Peel, was also elected chair of the Peel Police Services Board. I'm sure all members know that the board's access to information policy designates the chair of the Peel Police Services Board as head of Freedom of Information. The head is the most important person in the Freedom of Information process. And you, Chair Yanika, designated head means that the decision to release or deny Freedom of Information records rests ultimately with you. And finally, in you, we have a police board chair who has demonstrated that he bottom line gets that integrity and accountability are about doing the right thing.
Point number 2, the Lady of Justice is blind for a reason. It matters not who she judges over. Whether that's your mayor, whether that's my brother, whether that's the local parish priest. And I have to hold that up to my thoughts as well. I'm shocked that anybody in the audience or anyone in this city would put the cost of such an exercise ahead of having to ensure you have integrity and accountability in your political system. Beg your pardon. So to conclude, at the end of the day, I was not elected for my love of the mayor. I was elected to do the right thing.
So, I request full release of Record 1 that Information and Privacy Commissioner Adjudicator Diane Smith ordered be disclosed in her ruling MO 3476 and that I didn't get. In September 2017, when Peel Police released that record to me, the gaps made it blatantly obvious that some of Record 1's contents had been secretly redacted. Most people are familiar with the common way that government records are redacted using black lines. For example, City of Mississauga Corporate Security redact information too, but they use black lines, so their redaction is clear and out in the open. This means that if people want to appeal the redaction to the IPC, they can. By contrast, Peel Police secretly redact. They use whiteout. This can result in suspicious gaps. And if the bottom of a page is redacted using whiteout, the redaction can go entirely undetected. On October 17, 2017, I emailed IPC adjudicator Diane Smith advising her in part, quote, I received the records on time, but there's a problem. Record 1 has almost certainly been tampered with. Redacted. I'm officially making that allegation. Freedom of Information has already confirmed that Peel Police withhold data, doctor statistics, and hide information from the board and the public. It's therefore not at all a stretch to conclude that Peel Police also deleted 4 bullets and related questions in Record 1. You can see that the gaps in Evans' March 26, 2014 series of questions are just wide enough for bullets and text to fit perfectly. I allege that in her March 26, 2014 email, Chief Evans had 4 additional questions she shared exclusively with Deputy Chief McCord, and they've been redacted in white. Finally, I submit that the gaps and the 4 missing questions to McCord are the reason that Peel Police fought so fiercely to prevent Record 1's release. On October 19, 2017, the IPC responded with, quote, Adjudicator Smith has reviewed your concerns as well as the disclosed records. She notes that her copy of Record 1 has the same gaps that you point out in your letter, unquote. Ms. Smith confirming that her copy contained the same gaps suggests that Peel Police secretly redacted Record 1 sometime between September and November 2016 and then sent the censored email to the IPC adjudicator. The Chief's secretly redacted March 26, 2014 email contains the intriguing introductory sentence, quote, I would like someone assigned to look at our PRP 17s, now that's the force's street check forms, so we are prepared, unquote. Then there's the date, March 26, 2014. Just 24 hours before, March 25th, Bonnie Crombie announced that she was running for mayor, therefore challenging Steve Mahoney, and Linda Jeffrey announced her run against Mayor Fennell, a longtime member of the Peel Police Services Board. Did Crombie and Jeffrey announcing their mayoral run the day before trigger so we are prepared? And prepared for what? To defend PRP 17s? Street checks? And what could the 4 PRP 17 queries possibly be that would prompt Peel Police, and presumably the chief, to secretly redact those 4 bullet points? And what new lines of inquiry would the contents of the chief's 4 whited out bullet points have prompted that would have helped us understand Peel Police street check practices? As you can see, there are questions, even if the questions are just for me. Finally, I request, Chair Unica, that you, as head of Freedom of Information, do the right thing and help secure the non-redacted full release of Record 1 so that it and all other Peel Police street check Freedom of Information records can be entered into the Region of Peel Council agenda in time for February 2020. Thank you.